Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome. My name is Brad. I work for Shipping Easy. I've been with the company for about a little over 5 years at this point. I've worked in sales, I've worked in support, I've worked in onboarding, been really in depth into the application. I work with some of our largest customers today to make sure that their processes are streamlined and efficient. So that's what we're going to discuss today. Today, we're going to talk about picking, packing, and shipping your products from your warehouse or whatever location you might be fulfilling from. Now, this is really important regardless of the size of the business you are. You might be just a mom and pop two-person operation that only ships a package a week or a package a day, or you might have full warehouse space and be shipping hundreds of packages per day. The ideas and concepts we'll discuss and touch on in this webinar are applicable across the board. Basically, this is about fulfilling your orders in a very efficient way, regardless of how many are going out. It's always easier if you've got a system in place to track where issues may have occurred, or if you've got customers calling you saying, hey, I've never received my package. Well, if we know that that package went through steps A, B, and C, it narrows down the places we have to look. And that's beneficial if you've got a single package. It's really beneficial if you have 1,000 packages. So hopefully you never find yourself having to look for 1,000 packages. But if you do, I think this can be, if you have a system in place like this, you can leverage that into tracking that down. So what are we going to talk about today? Let's go over here. Let's see. Oh, why does it do that? That's my background. That's Bigfoot, or at least a purported photograph of him. I think Bigfoot's hilarious, personally. So if you guys got any good Bigfoot jokes, just let me know because I love them. What we're going to cover today, though, around shipping is organizing your fulfillment space, reviewing what a pick list is and a packing slip. Those are two separate items. We'll also talk about setting up your specific workspace, and then I'll open it up at the very end for questions and answers. These could be questions around anything that we talked about today, anything else that you've observed in the software that you just have questions about, like, hey, is there a quicker way to categorize orders, or can I combine orders? You can ask anything. It's a town hall, open discussion. You can ask me where I'm from, which is Indiana, if you're wondering. I'll answer everything truthfully and to the best of my ability. So let's start with, what is a warehouse space? And as I mentioned before, the ideas we're talking about today are applicable whether you're fulfilling Christmas gifts in your living room or you have a 5,000 square foot warehouse. It's really just about keeping everything organized and in place. So a warehouse space can be any space. I'm in my bedroom. If I wanted to, I could make my bedroom my warehouse space. If I had products to sell and if I were an e-commerce merchant. I'm not. I work for a shipping software company. But you can make it your own space as long as it's organized in a way that flows to your pattern. So, I mean, I've got a very general outline that I'll go through here, but customize it, make it your own thing. You may not ship a million keyboards that are all the exact same thing. You might have a lot of variety in your shipments. That's okay. This process is really just helping you get the skeleton of your system, and then you can actually get in there and personally tweak it. Take the time to set this up before you start shipping. Obviously, you want to make sure that you have all of your merchandise and products in a governable way. So that way, again, it's just about having a quote unquote paper trail for the actions that are being taken within your business. So let's jump right into it. A pick list. So I actually love talking about pick lists because they're really underutilized by a lot of merchants. So anytime I get on an optimization call with someone, I always bring up a pick list because they're great for organization and they can increase your fulfillment time really well. So a pick list, what is it? It's just a piece of paper, like any piece of paper. It could be, this is my piece of paper. This pick list is going to have the SKUs and their quantities on it, but it can have a lot of information on there as well. The most practical or most immediate method I always go with is, let's put your product SKUs on there. For anybody that doesn't know what a SKU is just a code representation of a product. So maybe this keyboard that I'm using is SKU 123. Well, if I know that I have quantity 1 of SKU 123, I know that I've got this single keyboard going in that order. That's what a pick list will help you with, is it will tell you how many of those keyboards I need to fulfill the orders that need to be fulfilled. So I might have 50 orders that need fulfilled and 20 of them require a keyboard. This is where a pick list is going to lend itself. It helps with quality control as well, because as your pickers or yourself are physically picking the product, you have a variety of options to indicate that, yes, we have been able to fulfill these SKUs and orders, or no, we haven't. Some action needs to occur because of that. You can sort it by all sorts of different ways when it comes to efficiency. Some customers sort it by their warehouse bin. So maybe I know that all my keyboards are down aisle 1 and on the 5th shelf up. I can sort my pick list by that. So I'm going down aisle 1 first, then I'm going down aisle 2, then 3. That way I'm not zigzagging through my warehouse trying to fulfill all of these orders. I can do it very routinely, get back to my station and fulfill the orders all at once. And then you can also, this is a nice part that I really like about a pick list too. Not only is it going to show you the information pertaining to the SKUs, so that's the SKUs and their quantities, it's going to break out the orders below it. So you can go through, pick up 20 keyboards if you need those for your fulfillment. When you get back to your station, you actually have the option of having an extra piece of paper beneath the pick list that says, okay, order 1, 2, 3 needs a keyboard. So I know that I need to put a keyboard for this printing label that is, shipping label that is order 1, 2, 3. It's really handy as far as just trying to keep everything together. So again, you're not making like multiple trips to be like, well, shoot, which order needs a keyboard? Well, if that information is right there, it saves you time. So these are little steps, and they may seem like little things. And again, whether you're doing a package a day or 100 a day, these little steps add up very quickly to hours in your day or hours in your week or year that you can get back. So this is what a pick list looks like. Inside of my Shipping Easy account, inside of my demo account, this is how I currently have mine set up. This is telling us right here the item name, so I know exactly what I need to pick. The SKU, here's that identifier, that unique identifier for that product. And then here's the quantity that I'm going to need specifically to fulfill at least one of the, whoops, how do I get that out of there? Exit. One of the four one of the 4 orders that are totaled on this list. So I know that it's going to require all of these SKUs to fulfill all 4 orders that I have on this pick list. And then the last thing, as I mentioned, I have it grouped by my warehouse bin. So there's aisle A, shelf 2, bin B. Aisle B, shelf 2, bin C. So again, that way I'm going down aisle A first, then aisle B, then aisle E, G. I'm not jumping all the way down to Q and going back to E. That's really inefficient, and it doesn't make sense if I'm shipping regularly. Go back to presenting. And then the next slide just shows you a breakdown of the orders themselves. So on this first slide, as I mentioned, this is the SKUs and their quantities. This slide is an actual order. So as you can see, Dana Foster, order M, etc., needs at least 14 of this item. So I have gone down aisle H, row 5, and picked 14 of those guys, brought them back to my station. I can now fulfill for her. So all of these SKUs and quantities, they've been gathered ahead of time. So I'm not going back and picking these on per order. This information and this merchandise has already been aggregated by me in like a bucket or whatever you're using, a wheelbarrow, an old rusted out car, it doesn't matter. That stuff's all right there. And so all you need to do is just go through this list and just start fulfilling those orders, printing the labels and shipping them. So let me jump over to the application real quick. We're going to talk about just how you can customize your pick list. As I mentioned, mine is very basic, but you might have information that you need on there that is particular to your process. We're just talking about the bare bones, just kind of ideas right now. We'll go to settings in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to click on pick lists beneath label sizes and printing options. Did you guys just see me spit that ice out? That's embarrassing. I didn't mean to take that one in. So this is the pick list formatting page. This is where we're going to have and place all of the information that we want to appear on that pick list. Notice that I have group and print by item and group and print by order. That results in 2 pieces of paper. The first being that itemized list saying I need 14 keyboards and I need 6 pairs of headphones. That's the first piece of paper. The one beneath it is the order that breaks out and saying, okay, one of these keyboards is going to Joyce Pendleton in Indianapolis. One of these headphones is going to Doug Pendleton in Missouri, what have you. That's how you can break it up and print those pick lists out. As you can see, I have it sorted by my warehouse bin again, just so I can go up and down the aisles. And then we have our column selection right here. So this is information that's just really easy and relevant to for the purposes of this webinar. But again, maybe you have gift messages, or maybe you have your order numbers sequenced in some manner that makes more sense to appear on a pick list for your picking. You can absolutely just drag these guys over and add them. The last thing I'll point out to you on this page, I like this picked column right here, because what that does is it's basically just a blank space. And I'll go back real quick and see if it's on here. Yeah, it's just this blank space right here. And that's really just for your pickers or yourself to indicate, yes, we were able to fulfill this. And again, it's all about a paper trail, literally and metaphorically. If I can go back in and see, oh, okay, on the pick list, I was able to pick the add-on 2 and the mouse, but I didn't pick the 99 red balloons. That's a paper trail in case the customer says, hey, I never got my 99 red balloons, whatever happened to it? We can see, oh, well, we never picked it. One less step in the chain. You can be more transparent with your customers around that, instead of just kind of shrugging your shoulders and being like, we picked it and then it just got lost in the ether. This is going to help avoid that, because I definitely understand how frustrating it can be as a customer to not get a straight answer, or at least to get a very vague and just kind of pass the dollar answer. We want to avoid that. We're going to jump down now to our packing slips. Let's pull this up here, present. So a packing slip it's in the same ballpark as a pick list, but really it's geared towards a single order. It is just a single order. You couldn't have multiple order packing slips. They would just be one order at a time. A lot of people refer to packing slips as an invoice. It's a breakdown of your order, typically, is how people will use it. They will say, okay, Brad Pendleton ordered a keyboard on the 5th of May, and it cost $32 or whatever it's going to be. That information is represented on the packing slip itself. They can be used for picking and packing. Now, if you're a smaller operation, these can be really useful because you can sort them in the same manner that you can a pick list. But if you only have like 5 or 10 shipments going out that day, and you don't need necessarily to spend a little bit more time in the aisles or the locations that you store your products, if you print a packing slip with this, it's going to list the quantity and the product itself. So you could, in theory, just look at your packing slip and have the label with it as well and say, oh, okay, Brad in Austin, Texas ordered one of these. It's the only shipment we have today. Let's just go ahead and print it. So that way you're not printing like 2 pages of a pick list when you don't necessarily need to. So they're flexible as far as their usage. I would encourage you to, if you've got anywhere over like 20 shipments that are going out, I would encourage you to use the pick list in addition to this. You may print packing slips for organization. A lot of customers will have their return policy printed on their packing slip to let the customer know, hey, if this keyboard's broken, send a email to this email address and we'll send you a return label or something like that. So packing slips are still useful inside of the greater context of the order, but when it comes to fulfilling, they're more useful towards smaller fulfillment versus the pick list, which really lends itself to your more heavier fulfillment, anything like 20 packages and above, I would say. This is what a packing slip looks like, just to give you an idea. Here is the item information. There's the quantity. So you can see how you would look at this and say, oh, I need the add-on number 2. I just need one of those, and I need the mouse pad, and I need this Shipping Easy dress shoe. It's not a big order. It's the only one I have. Let's go get it. A lot of this information isn't really relevant either. I've got kind of a dirty pick list. It's just too much stuff here. Like, we don't need the bill to or the ship to. This information is kind of irrelevant since we're obviously shipping it to that person. Should probably go in there and clean this up before I do another webinar on picking and packing. You can also have these other things at the bottom here. Like, this is a suggested, product recommendation. And again, you could have your return policy outlined at the bottom. It's completely up to you though. Yep, so let's jump into the application, and we're going to talk about the packing slip itself. They can be completely customized as well. So in settings in the upper right-hand corner, we'll go to the packing slips column beneath our label sizes and printing options. So as you can see, we have a couple of different ways to support packing slips: a 4x6 landscape, 8.5 by 11, which is like a standard Brother printer or something like that. But these are completely customizable. You can include barcodes on them. You can have gift packing slips that don't have prices. Again, it's completely up to your specific process, but you have a lot of options. Okay, let's talk about the actual fulfillment process. So let's go through a scenario together. It's Monday morning. We've taken in 10 orders over the weekend and I need to fulfill them. So what is going to make the most sense? Well, we've gone ahead and set up our warehouse space. So I've got my area set that way. I know what products I need to fulfill and everything like that. So we'll pull up Shipping Easy first. We'll go to the orders page. And I look at the orders page and I see, okay, these particular orders are the ones that I am looking to fulfill. So the process that is the most straightforward as far as just, and again, this isn't exactly what you may use, but this is the idea as far as how you can use this. We'll go ahead and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These 5 orders are orders that I'm going to fulfill today. They came in over the weekend. I'm ready to go. I'm going to be in my warehouse picking these guys. So what does that look like? Well, we'll select the orders we want picked. We'll click on that pick and pack button. And then first I'm going to print this pick list. This will redirect me to the ready to print page. Now, if you have Connect Easy and direct printing set up on your computer, this will come out of whatever printer you have designated automatically. I don't have it because I care about the environment and it would just be wasting paper to do this on a webinar. But if you do have it, it can come out automatically. Otherwise, as you can see, we open up a PDF where I can then print it from. So here we are. We've got 5 orders total in this list. And this is, again, outlining how many quantities of each SKU that I need. I need to create some warehouse bins for those guys. So it would probably be madness trying to fulfill these guys because we couldn't find them in my warehouse. It's very important to organize your warehouse and your products because it just saves you steps like this. This would be a nightmare. If I came in and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to fulfill these 5 orders, NA for the warehouse bin, I would be having to check with my employees. I would be having to like circle back to receiving, be like, where are these SKUs? I have no idea. I would be livid. But let's pretend that NA actually is a warehouse location. I go and fulfill these orders. And as you can see at the bottom, I've got them broken out into their respective orders. So I head back to my station. Station 1, very important, is where we are printing our pick list and our packing slips. So the first step, print your pick list and your packing slip, and then go grab all of your merchandise. There's a graphic like this as well. Station 2. Station 1 and 2 are actually related. They're kind of like the Siamese twins of fulfillment. Station 2 is really just, it can be an extension of Station 1. It's just the area where you'll have Shipping Easy open so that you can print the labels when you can confirm that you have enough inventory for it. So you wouldn't want to print a shipping label for a keyboard that you don't know if you have in stock or not. Now, if you have inventory software, you can know readily, oh yeah, we've got it in stock, I can go ahead and print the labels. But if you don't have that and you're not tracking your inventory, I would hold off on printing a label until you physically look at that location where this guy is and confirm, yes, I do have this keyboard. Station 2 contains, like I said, it's just an extension of Station 1, but there is packaging material at the ready. So whether you're using US Postal flat rate boxes, whether you're using your own customized boxes, this is the area where you're actually going to start fulfilling these orders. So looking at this page, I can pull up that first order and say, okay, Joe Gibbs is ordering this particular item. Well, I see it's in my wheelbarrow right here, or whatever I've used to collect it. I put that in the box, I tape it up. Shipping Easy is open to the orders page. And again, remember, I've got my pick list. So it's not as though I'm bouncing between windows. I've actually got Joe Gibbs's order right up here. I've packed it, and then we can go about and buy the label. I'd probably change it though, $311. That is so much money. $311 for that shipping label. That's intense. After I've printed that shipping label, put it on the box, and then that's Station 2. Station 3. Station 3 is really important. This is where your baggaged, your boxed shipments will be staged. This is the area for the carrier pickup, or if you don't have like a regular USPS, UPS, FedEx pickup, and you take the packages to the UPS store or the post office directly, this is just a good area to just stage your packages and say, we have that many shipments processed today. Because again, if you'll remember, we know how many orders we should have processed based on this information on our pick list. There should be 5 distinct boxes in my staging area. If I don't have 5, that means I missed an order, or that means we didn't have one available for fulfillment. So If that's the case, then I know that's, again, just a paper trail. I know where to start if there's an issue. So stage 3 is really just about being able to standardize a location to stage your packages. Here's an example of stage 3. As you can see, they're all very orderly. I encourage you to pick some sort of number as far as like the height goes for the stacks. If you say, okay, we're only going to stack our packages 5 high, and you've got 4 stacks of 5 packages, you know you have 20 packages. So that way, if you're looking at your pick list or whatever manifest you're using to track your packages, you know, hold on one second, we've got 3 stacks of 5 packages. There should be 4 stacks because 3 stacks would be 15. So again, it's just being very diligent with your own quality control and being able to track that. But that is it. I will open it up for Q&A. I know we kind of go through this somewhat fast, but there's not a ton to it. I mean, just to kind of recap, print your packing slip and pick list first at station 1. This is where you can go and get the information for the orders you need to fulfill. Go fulfill them, come back to station 2, pack them up, print the shipping label, put it on the package, and deposit that at station 3. And you'll be able to start fulfilling in a really efficient manner. Now, again, you might have 30 different stations if you've got a huge warehouse, and it's this process may be way more complex than what we've looked at today. But this is the bare bones assembly for a fulfillment company or a company that's fulfilling orders through e-commerce or just any shipping at that. But yeah, I'll go ahead and open it up for questions right now. And again, they could be questions about what I've talked about, or if you've just got a question around just anything within the software, yeah, I'll be happy to go into it. Someone has a question about setting a preset. So the question is, how do I set up a shipping preset? For anybody that doesn't know what a shipping preset is, it's a combination inside of Shipping Easy. So it's a combination of a carrier, a service, and a package. So a good example would be like this guy, United States Postal Service. So you see the eagle right there. Priority Mail, that is the shipping service that package is going to go through. And then you see it's on a flat rate padded envelope. That is the package. So that preset is the United States Postal Service flat rate padded envelope preset. How do we set that up? Well, let's go ahead and go to settings. I should probably explain why that's important too, right? A preset is nice because on the orders page, you can toggle to them. So maybe I don't want to ship this package specifically via the post office. Maybe I want to use FedEx or UPS. Well, I can come down here and toggle to another shipping preset that I have. These are really great for the gimmies, quote unquote, that you have. The ones, you know, every time we ship under £1, it's going first class. Well, you can just toggle to it really quickly here in case it was marked for whatever reason, any other class of mail that you actually don't want to use. But how you set that up, we'll click on settings. Then we're going to click on shipping presets on the right-hand side. Anything with a star to the left of it, so these guys right here, that is available for use on the orders page. Anything that does not have a star, it's still available for use, just not on the orders page. You could use this on the ready to ship page. You could use it in a shipping rule that will automate the process. But on anything that has start out is specific to the orders page. So to create a new preset, we'll click on new presets. I have my carrier options right here, the post office, UPS, FedEx. And then if you'll notice, you've got another option here that says UPS stamps.com. That's a special account. I will touch on that next. But essentially, you're able to get really good discounts through Shipping Easy's parent company, stamps.com. We'll finish up on this preset, though. So we'll select USPS. I've got my services of mail right here. Let's suppose whatever I'm shipping does not need to be there in a hurry, and it's heavier. So we'll just use Parcel Select because I think it might be the cheapest option. Then I can either add a brand new package, just put in the dimensions and the weight of the package for a more accurate quote. Or I can use one that I've already made right here. So we've got a bunch of test ones, special packages. I'm just going to use the shoebox for this instance, and then I can create it. Now, once I create this preset, it will be available on the orders page unless I remove the star. I'm not going to create it though, because I really am not a fan of clutter, and this is even a lot for me. But that's how you create a shipping preset. And again, you can use that on the orders page. You can use it on your ready to ship page. and you can use it in a shipping rule. So that's a good question. That's how you make it. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to read through this question. Will tracking information update to my website? That's a great question. So someone is asking about updating the tracking information back to your website. So let's go over to our orders page real quick. If you have a website that integrates with Shipping Easy, like Amazon, it's a marketplace technically, but Amazon, Walmart, other marketplace, Shopify, BigCommerce, Magento, there's all these different avenues for you to list and sell your products and receive orders. If they integrate with Shipping Easy, they'll appear on our orders page right here. So as soon as I ship a shipping label from Shipping Easy, the information associated with that order gets relayed back to the website specifically and updated. So if I ship this order, which says do not ship, but I do it anyways because I'm a rebel, it will update this tracking information back to wherever that order came from, whether it's my Shopify store, whether it's Amazon. It updates the status and the tracking information. That way Shipping Easy is not downloading your order information twice and you're shipping the customer twice the product. Let's see. Is there a way to have a more bold or bigger area for color coding for the categories so that it is more noticeable on the orders page? That's a great question. So it touches on a couple of different areas. So we're talking about the orders page of Shipping Easy. If you'll notice these color codings to the left of orders, that's called a category. And a category is just a way of using Shipping Easy as an order management tool. So each of these little colors mean something different to me than they might to you. As you can see on the left-hand side, if I drop my category list down, I have orders with a red bar next to them. They inform me not to ship these guys. Orders that are yellow mean that they should be going domestic priority. So for example, this one I would need to change because right now it's set to UPS. I don't want to ship at UPS. I want to ship those orders priority. So that's what a category is. And the question that this individual is asking is there a way to make this larger and more visible? I would say, I mean, not from like a coding standpoint or any like sort of like customization going into settings and blowing that up. You can always Control+ and zoom in if you like. Where's that? Which it doesn't work on my computer. Where's that? There it is. There we go. So you can zoom in that way. You can also minimize the shipping selection. Maybe you don't need that because you've set up shipping rules ahead of time. So your orders are being automatically coded and that's really all you need. If you minimize that, again, it just cuts out the clutter that's going to be potential clutter for you that you may not need. Now, if you're a customer that does use that, then keep it pushed out. And I would just say probably zoom in with Command+ on a Mac or Control+ on a PC. It's completely up to you, but there's not a way to go in there and like actually lengthen it up like it's a piece of fruit by the foot or something. God, I love that stuff. Good question. Is there a way to bulk ship? Yes. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you can bulk ship in our application. I'll say the most probably straightforward one is if you have, anytime you see a rate quote on the orders page, it means that shipment's ready to go. It means that it has passed either a shipping rule or some sort of determination has been made as far as how this needs to ship. And if you're comfortable with what has been relayed, like if I'm happy with all of these selections, this would be the exception, right? But if I needed to change that or adjust that, I can actually just filter to every order with a rate quote, select all my orders and buy the labels just like that. That would print up to 200 labels. Right now it would be 45 because I only have 45 orders with a rate quote. But yeah, that would be a really easy way to do it off the orders page. If you want to group as a batch, and a batch is just a grouping of labels that are all shipping in an identical manner. So for example, we'll say with a rate quote, and this is going to be everybody that is under £1. So I know that every time I ship under £1, that we're going to use the post office. It's the most affordable, it's the most efficient way to get a very lightweight package to its destination. Well, with that information, I'm able to filter specifically to the orders that are under a pound, and we can just select them all, group as batch. And the reason, sub accounts. My account is way too decked out, you guys. It's too tricked out. We'll just do it with these two. The reason you might group as batch versus doing like a buy label off the orders page, let's suppose that these guys, these two orders right here, don't actually have like an accurate service attached to them, and I need to change it. Well, there's not a way to select everybody and bulk change all of their services right here. So that's why you would want to use the group as batch. We'll take that, group as batch. Those are the orders. Those are the problem orders. Fender bender. So, okay, here we go. Priority mail. This is a great example. These actually need to go as first class versus priority mail. Let's group as batch. Now we've put them on our ready to ship page. And then as you can see right here on the left-hand side, I've got my domestic batch that I can rename. We'll call it Brad's Bad Batch. I don't know if you guys have seen the Bad Batch movie on Netflix. It wasn't very good. It wasn't. Jim Carrey's in it, but he didn't do a good job. So back to the actual Bad Batch though. So this is, as you can see, we've got priority mail as the carrier service. We need to change that to first class. Select a package for these guys. We're going to say just package. And then I've got to correct the weight on them. God, these are the worst examples. I need to go through and clean up these examples. Basically, you would be able to print these as a first class label if they were cleaned up. But that's the cool thing about our software too, is that it won't let you erroneously ship. I couldn't ship one of these packages for 0 ounces. It just won't happen. I have to have a weight in there. So again, you want to make sure that your weights are super accurate, and that way you won't run into this. So another fulfillment and efficiency thing, make sure that you have done all of the heavy lifting and making sure your SKUs have accurate weights and everything. So that way, as you're shipping, you're not getting bogged down in little minutia like this. How does the inventory module control the order's pick list functionality? That's a great question. So the inventory module, it doesn't, I'm trying to think of how I can phrase this. Let me take a drink of water. Right off the bat, the inventory module isn't going to prevent an order from being shipped by any means. So if this pillow is at 0, we could still, in theory, print a shipping label for this and send out the package. Now, there are caveats to that, which I'll talk about in just a second. But it really boils down to, let me pull this up here. This is a great question. If you can't tell, there's so many different ways to attack like your low inventory. Let's look at that backstock category I have set up right now. This is what we'll do. We'll look at backstock, right? So we can say if SKU 1, 2, 3 has low inventory, then categorize it or do whatever action. That would be my recommendation. So right now you can see that I have a back order, do not ship. I have a single order in here that has been marked red as back order. We should not ship this. Now, how did we arrive at this point? Because if I'm going through and fulfilling orders and I'm filtering on the left-hand side, I want to keep this guy out of my active fulfillment process. So how did we identify this order and make that decision? Well, let's click on settings in the upper right-hand corner. And tomorrow's Thursday, so I have a shipping rule webinar tomorrow that I'll definitely make sure you guys get links to if you haven't had a chance to register for it. We're going to cover this as well. So this is really cool as far as being able to identify these orders and taking action on them. It's called a shipping rule. It's an if-then statement. If the order has no inventory, then mark it as back order. That is a if-then statement. So we'll click on settings in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to click on shipping rules on the right-hand side. And then here's my back order category rule that I set up 2 weeks ago. So let's take a look at this guy. This is how you can use the Shipping Easy inventory system in conjunction with your order fulfillment. So because I have inventory enabled on Shipping Easy, and if you're not aware, Shipping Easy does not have inventory automatically enabled. It's an additional feature within our software. But because I have it enabled in my account, I'm able to set a low stock threshold for a product. So I could say the low stock threshold for this lovely keyboard is 5. So that way I know that if this keyboard's quantity, available quantity, goes to 5 or below, I need to reorder it. Well, in this case, if I set my low stock at 0, we could enable a back order to just say there's no stock of this available on the orders page. So my if statement is identifying my keyboard. If product has low stock, and we'll just say I have no keyboards, and then we're saying is true. So if that's true that I have no keyboards, then we're going to assign it to a category of back order do not ship. So when that order gets downloaded into Shipping Easy, our software sees it and says, holy smokes, this keyboard has no inventory, that should not be shipped. Let's flag it. Throws that flag on it. And then as I come in the next morning and I'm working through my fulfillment, I can filter to that and see, oh, okay, well, I need to send an email to the New York Tuck guy and let him know that his keyboard's on back order, or just basically work around that. Typically, that's what I recommend is you come in the morning, you work through all of the quote unquote busy work that you have to do. Those are the things that are very straightforward as far as, like I said, anything under a pound goes first class. I don't even have to think about that. That is quote unquote busy work for me. And then at the end of the day, or at the end of your fulfillment, you come back to invalid addresses, you come back to your back orders and everything like that. And you start knocking out those more customer relation order management portions. Great question. And we'll talk a lot more about, we'll only talk about shipping rules tomorrow at 1 p.m. As well. So like I said, I'll make sure everybody has links to register for that. But yeah, that's a great question. Does Shipping Easy have, or can you recommend a scan system for shipping and inventory processes? I'm sorry, purposes. I don't know where I got processes from. Yes, so Shipping Easy has barcode scanning functionality within the software. It's really awesome. It's really straightforward and easy. Now, it works for one portion of the software, but we don't support it for inventory. It works for the order management portion of Shipping Easy. And so we'll take a quick look at what that process looks like. So let's say I come in on Monday and I've got these orders and I'm going to start picking and packing them and everything like that. Well, what the barcode does is it's a barcode for that specific order. So let's look at just this guy, for example. I'll print the packing slip for the Hollywood Fat Cat. Print. As you can see, it's got an order number barcode at the top there. So let's pretend this piece of paper is that piece of paper. I've got my product right here, and now I'm back on the Shipping Easy orders page because I've gone out, I've gotten the product, it's in my hand, I'm ready to fulfill this order. Well, I'm gonna scan that barcode, that is that barcode, anywhere in the application, and it's going to redirect me to the ready to ship page. So I'm doing it manually right now because I don't have a barcode scanner. It'd be really cool if I did. But this is what you're going to see as soon as you scan that barcode. It's going to pull up that order onto your ready to ship screen right here. And now I can either make the manual adjustment for how I'd like to ship this package. Maybe I want to use Priority Mail Express or something like that. Or if you have those shipping presets that we helped set up at the beginning of this webinar, if you have a shipping preset, you can actually use what's called a scan sheet. And scan sheets are really sweet because they are just barcodes on a sheet of paper that indicate a preset. So let me open this up on, that's not what I wanted to do. On settings, whoops. So to print off a scan sheet, you're going to select the barcodes and scan sheets in the lower right-hand side. And as you can see, here are all my shipping presets. So this is just what we went back to where it's that carrier, service, and package combination. So if this is only 12 ounces, this keyboard, and I know I want to use first class, and yeah, it could have been assigned by a rule, but maybe I don't have those set up. Maybe we're just using barcodes. Well, I can have this attached to my scan sheet right here. Scan box. And we'll download you. And this is what it looks like. So I would literally scan the corresponding preset that I wanted to use and a label would come out. But yeah, those barcodes are really great. Now, one thing just to be clear is we don't support this for inventory. I couldn't scan out a piece of merchandise, or I couldn't scan like for pick pack quality control. That's where you scan a barcode for the item on your packing slip, and then you scan a barcode on the physical item. And if they're a match, then great, you can go. If they're not, then there's a problem. We don't support that. We support just the actual order fulfillment and the printing part. That's a great question. I love barcode scanning as well. Super passionate about it. Yeah, it just doesn't. It yeah, it's a great thing. Let's see. I think that's all of the questions. I know we went over today. Thank you for joining me. I do these every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Probably going to start adding some wildcard webinars in there too. Definitely want to talk about inventory management that we touched on today, and customer marketing as well. So stay tuned for that. As I mentioned, I'll shoot you guys links for registration for tomorrow's webinar. You could register for tomorrow. You could register for next week's. We've got them open for the next, I think, the rest of the year. So if you want to schedule one on Christmas Eve, you're more than welcome to. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me. This link will be coming to you here very shortly, and I hope to see you tomorrow. If not, we do these every week, so feel free to register then. I'm gonna try and fade us back out here with some Bill Withers, and it didn't work. It's just awkwardly silent. Everybody, have a good rest of your Wednesday.